Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So this is the recap video of the interview I had with the Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 developers. Now I did a full interview which lasted around 30 minutes, but this is not that version because there was a lot of audio issues. But if you want to go listen to that version, which is fine to do so, but please a warning at your own risk. There's a lot of static microphones and stuff like that, but if you want to go listen to that, then there is a link to that in the description of this video. It's over a half an hour long. You can go and listen to that at your own pleasure and enjoy it, but please be warned, there is a lot of audio issues. This video is the recap basically of that interview, summing up all the information I got in a nice clear way with my microphone. So if you want to watch this video, then go watch this video, but if you want to go and watch or listen to the full interview, then you can go and listen to the full interview in the link below in the description. Okay, so we started off talking about the campaign system in Battlefleet Gothic 2, and he spoke about Battlefleet Gothic 2 Armada, well, Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 campaign leans towards the grand strategy-esque type of campaign. The campaign map in the previous game was basically just one hub. It was really unadvanced or anything like that, but in this game now you basically have command of several fleets instead of just one fleet. There's different objectives on the map where you have to capture these several fleets and take, for example, you have stuff like hive worlds now which have supply lines to them, and if you let the enemy take that supply line to that hive world, then that hive world will start starving and your fleet then will start losing morale. There's got to be around 12 sectors to explore, and within those sectors are systems, so you can get a sense of how big they actually want to make like the grand strategy type of this game. There's a lot of incentives for people to explore all these sectors. There's 40k lore, there's full descriptions, there's cool 3D visuals of worlds and everything which is in there, which is really cool for someone like me who loves like the lore and stuff. It's definitely going to be somewhere where, you know, I can probably just lose myself for a couple of hours and just go exploring in a sector, maybe uncover some cool little lore which obviously maybe I don't even know about, so maybe that's a nice little incentive for, you know, people like me to just jump in and battle. The narrative campaign is of course back. This was probably one of the best things for me in Battlefleet Gothic 1, seeing all those cinematics and stuff, and I can say from me being at the Focus event and actually seeing the opening cinematic with Cadia and stuff, Holy Emperor, we are in for a treat. But the narrative aspect is definitely back. It's definitely going to be one of the main focuses. The quality of the cinematics are still the same. They're still massive and amazing. It's very important that they have the narrative, because where all this takes place in the around Cadia and the Cadian Gate and all that kind of stuff, they want to put that story on you now about the fall of Cadia and how everything happens in the sectors and all the planets and space stations actually around there. And he did confirm one thing as well, is that Spire will also be returning in Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. So after speaking a bit about the campaign, we moved on to the actual factions and what factions can you actually play in this game. Now you got to be able to play different factions in the campaign, not only Imperium, which is some pretty big news. So when you actually play the Imperium, it's not just the Imperial Navy. You actually get to play the Adeptus Astartes, the Adeptus Mechanicus, or the Imperial Navy, each within the Imperium fleet. So really that there is 3 fleets or 3 factions, let's say, in one. But you're also going to have the Necron campaign and the Tyranid campaign at the start. That's what they're thinking of at the start of when the game releases. They want these 3 factions, but they also did state that they want to do an Eldar campaign and they want to do a Chaos campaign, because the Eldar have a very important story with the fall of Cadia, and of course Chaos has a very important story as well. They did say that the Necron campaign is going to be something that they really want to show off, because it's some really big cool things in there. They said that the Necron, sorry, not the Necron, the Tyranid campaign is not really going to be as narrative as the other campaigns, but it's going to be really fun. You can't really have that much of a narrative campaign with the Tyranids when they basically just want to eat everything, but it's going to be a really fun campaign with the Tyranids. After that, I asked about ships, what big ships we'll be able to play, because of course I am a sucker for huge, massive ships, and we can take command of some big ships in this game. Rebooted flagship for one, the Phalanx for another, but he did state that each faction is going to have a Titanic-esque ship. So, for example, if the Phalanx shows up, you got to have something really big to counter the phalanx when you're playing the campaign. It's not just going to be like a face roll. So each faction will have a Titanic-esque ship in the campaign. I did ask him about the multiplayer side of this as well, and he did say that in the multiplayer side, you won't have ships like the phalanx and stuff like that, because it would just be too imbalanced. Everyone would just be bringing a phalanx and putting that on the multiplayer side, and it wouldn't be that fair. I can kind of see where he's coming from. But yeah, at least the phalanx in the actual campaign itself, so we can jump in and purge as a glorious son of dawn with that. And on the subject of big ships and everything like that, I had to ask about the characters, and of course he already confirmed that Spire is going to return in this campaign, but you're going to have characters like Rebute, which is going to be part of this campaign. They said they didn't want to spoil everything, which is okay, that's fine, but all the main characters that you'll have in the Fall of Cadia, you know, the first big books that we got last year, all the main characters like that, so Abaddon, Krieg, Corval, Belisarius Crawl, even Trazyn for the Necrons, all these characters are going to be in Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. And of course, since we have some new fleets coming to the game, I asked about how these new fleets will work, specifically the Tyranids and the Necrons, since that's what a lot of people wanted to know. And there was a lot of big reveals about the Necrons and the Tyranids. So firstly, the Tyranids will be devastating in boarding actions. They actually went into it and said they fully reworked how the boarding system is going to work in Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. In Battlefleet Gothic Armada 1, it was very confusing. You didn't really know what was going on when you were boarding stuff. So Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2 is going to be much clearer when it comes to boarding actions with your fleet. So now when you board an enemy ship, you no longer do critical damage. You actually destroy the crew on that ship. You actually have a new life bar that shows the crew. If you destroy this life bar, so if you destroy the life crew bar, the ship becomes a drifting hulk, since there's no more crew on that ship. So you lose control of your ship, but that doesn't mean that that ship's out of it. You can then actually send another ship to board troops onto that ship to take it back and then to take control of that ship once again. They did state that if you play a Tyranid fleet, that it's more or less impossible to lose your crew because there's just that much Tyranids. They actually said that when you actually play a Tyranid fleet, it's more or less ends with just a lot of drifting hulks around the Nids, because they're just devastating when it comes to boarding actions and stuff like that. They did say that the mechanic the Tyranids have is that if you destroy the Tyranid hive ship, then you can actually cripple the entire Tyranid fleet. They actually become uncontrollable, and you know, just don't listen to them and stuff. So if you actually go against a Tyranid force, it's always best to take out that hive mine ship, and that is one of the best ways to actually cripple a Tyranid fleet. And moving on to the Necrons, this is a fleet that's going to be very, very powerful. Of course, it's going to be balanced, but it is going to be very powerful. They want them as a strong faction, just like they have in the lore, because Necrons are very, very fancy in the lore, if you didn't know. They probably are one of the strongest factions when it comes to anything in the actual 40k lore. Some of their technology they have is just unbelievable. So one of the things that they're going to have is that every ship is going to have an actual ability to regenerate itself in battle, so it can repair hull back on itself. Now, you may be familiar with this from Battlefleet Gothic Armada 1, where you press the repair button and you could get, you know, some hull regeneration back and repair yourself. This is no longer a feature now for the rest of the fleet, bar the Necrons, in Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. Only the Necrons can regenerate their health back in-game. That's not to say that you do not have a repair button anymore. You do have a repair button, but that repair button will only heal critical damage or fires on board your ships. Their weapons are very different than all the other factions. All their weapons are energy weapons, so you can spread all the energy around to ships all around you, or you can simply focus on one ship. When it comes to moving your Necron fleet, this is where some of the balance comes in. So the Necron fleet doesn't have access to like the high-powered turning maneuvers like the Imperium and the rest of the fleets does, so you can't easily dodge torpedoes or anything like that. They don't have access to any of that, but what they do have access to is something called a initial drive jump. Now, every Necron ship has access to this, so they said that what you'll find is that the Necron fleet will be constantly jumping around to confuse you, or you'll be using it to confuse our enemy, just like jumping around the map and stuff like that. It's like the mini warp jump the Imperium has, but Necronified, if that makes sense. I remember when I was seeing the Necron fleet in action at the Focus event, and one of the things that they did say, and they did state, is that because the Necrons are so powerful, the way they're balancing that is that the Necrons are always going to be outnumbered when it comes to ships. You will always have a number advantage to take on Necron ships, so you probably have like 2 ships for each of the Necron fleet. That is the way they're balancing it. So when a Necron player plays you, they'll have to focus on more ships, where you, as you're playing Necrons, you'll have the number advantage to then to do more maneuvers, maybe more boarding, more torpedo actions, all that kind of stuff. So that's how they're really approaching the balance with the Necron fleet. And the next talking point was the multiplayer. What is going to be different in the multiplayer in Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2? They were aware of the problems in Battlefleet Gothic Armada 1. So what they've done now, everything from the ground up has been reworked when it comes to multiplayer in Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. So what you got to have in this new game is that every player is given the same tools. In Battlefleet Gothic Armada 1, players didn't have access to all the upgrades at the start. So basically what you had like people like low-level fleets, like who were level 1, who were just easily killed by the higher ranked players who were like level 8, level 10, and you know, those kind of fleets, because they have access to everything. They've unlocked everything. So it just become an unbalanced game. So what they're doing now is, how it works is that you choose a faction or sub-faction, you choose 2 skills. Those 2 skills will only be on your admiral ship, and then you get 2 upgrades that will apply to the rest of your fleet. So for example, if you choose the navigational upgrade, that will you know, where you can go into like asteroids and stuff like that and you don't take damage, that will then apply to the rest of your ships in your fleet. We spoke about game modes. Is there going to be any new game modes when it comes to Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2? And they actually got feedback, and I can actually back this up, is that people just wanted more Crusader Clash-esque battles. So that's what they're basically working on in Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. They want to give more Crusader Clash type kind of mechanics in the game. So they want to improve on the Crusader Clash and add new features and new stuff to those kind of game modes, which is okay for me because I'm a huge fan of the Crusader Clash. And of course, I did enjoy some of like the escort missions and stuff like that, but the real fun I found was when you just got 2 fleets, you sent these 2 fleets at each other, and it was all down to the people with their tactics and stuff, just trying to out-tactic the other guy and smash him. So I'm very, very excited to see what they come up with, the new Crusader Clash-esque type of modes. There's going to be no modding or Steam Workshop in the game, which is kind of sad news. I would love to have modding in Steam Workshop. Of course, you know me. I think mods keep games going and stuff, but that's the way they're going at it. So we're gonna have no modding on Steam Workshop. They're gonna have more chapters in the game. This was something I asked, since the Space Marines of course are going to be in the game, and we're gonna have access to more chapters. They stated that every first founding chapter is going to be able to be taken in the game. Actually, in the interview, I asked them if Black Templars are going to be coming, and they said Black Templars will be coming, but they got confused with the Black Templars and 9 Hands. We cleared that up after the interview, but I'm making that clear now in this summary that there's going to be no Black Templars. It's just going to be all the first founding chapters are going to be available to take in multiplayer, and I think the campaign as well, if I'm not mistaken. There's no plans for DLC right now. They stated that all the factions are in the game. We're going to have 3 campaigns at the start. I did ask if we're going to get a Custodes fleet, because you know me and my Golden Boys, I would love some Custody action, and they said no, there's no plans for DLC right now, but that may, you know, that may change. I'm trying to think what they could actually add in the DLC. I'm quite blank at the moment. If any of you guys got any ideas what they can add via DLC, then please let me know in the comment section. And of course, in the release date, they said they haven't got a specific month, it's just 2018. So it's definitely going to be this year. I'm probably going to say around November-ish, December-ish, Christmas time. The late end, the back end of the year, that's what I'm personally going to go with. But it's definitely going to be coming out in 2018. Alright chaps, that's it for my summary. Like I said, if you want to go and listen to the entire interview yourself, but please be warned there is audio issues, just go into the link of this description of this video, click it, and it's an unlisted video on my YouTube channel. Go and listen at your own free will and enjoy it, but like I said, there is some audio issues. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope I give you some new information. Of course, I'm going to keep in contact with the developers. Hopefully I get some big news when other big stuff is announced. Hopefully the game is going to be in testing soon, so I can hopefully try and get in and test the game. I'm super looking forward to Battlefleet Gothic 2. The developers who are making this game are definitely fans of the IP, and that's what I love in a developer, when they approach 40k games and they're actual fans, like I'm a fan. All the stuff that I was shown at the event and stuff, I'm just completely blown away. I think this is going to be a massive 40k game when it releases. Right, that is me done. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you all very, very soon. See you chaps, and bye bye.